I'm Portia Econtii Music Group, and I'm young and great. My name is Portia Mazzone, and I go by Econtii. I'm the owner of Econtii Music Group, which is an entertainment consulting firm that specializes in legal research, branding, and management. I'm also the music supervisor for season 2 of Giants, which is a digital series executive produced by Issa Rae from Insecure's HBO. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My mom was 16 when she had me, and she was always a hard worker and had like several jobs and whatnot. And after I got a little bit older, I went and stayed with my aunt and uncle. And my uncle was an international investment business banker. And so I grew up watching him run his businesses. He owned airlines. He was Muhammad Ali's business manager. He had investment properties and stuff over in England and London, overseas and stuff. And so just watching him grow and do his businesses and stuff, he always taught me that you had to make money more than one way. I didn't want to work for anybody else. I'm my own person, and I didn't want to go in. I was tired. I worked in corporate America. I worked for the criminal justice system, and I worked nonprofits, and I like helping and giving back to people. But at the end of the day, I was working for somebody else, who was chilling, and I was like, well, shit, I want to chill too. I used to feel like I'm depressed as hell. I woke up every day doing the same thing. So it was kind of like you had to force yourself to change your mindset and how you think about things, because it's like what I'm doing is not working. And all I knew was I wanted to be happy. That was my first thing. I wanted to be happy. And how can I get to happiness? I think it's hard to start your own business in general, because it's like you come up with a business idea, but then it's like, how do you put that in play? And everybody doesn't have the tools to put that in play. And as a business owner, there's a lot of trial and error. I'm like the networking queen ever. And I'm going to write a book about networking. It's called The Art of Networking. So my thing is, I've always been a good talker. And like I said, I'm a person who pays attention to everything. And so when I'm networking, I go into a room already knowing what I want, and then I already know who I want to talk to. It's like I'm not about to sit in a line where there's like 50,000 people waiting to talk to somebody that I know that I'm not going to get to. And so I paid attention to cues where if I'm in a room and P. Diddy's sitting there, and let's say I want to get to P. Diddy, I pay attention, and everybody's going to want to get to P. Diddy. He's P. Diddy. But his assistant's sitting over here, no one's paying attention to him. They're in the corner, they're wide open. And even if you get to P. Diddy, he's going to tell you to go talk to your assistant. So instead of me running while there's a whole line, I'm cool as hell with the assistant now, because I'm talking to them, getting their number, getting whatever, and they're going to remember me to the point where they're going to get me into that room that I need to get to. And so it's about research, going out there and actually showing up, and you have to be, when you're networking, if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. Struggles in myself. I think I had to find out exactly what I want and what makes me happy, and not look at people around me, because I went to school, and so that was my path. And it wasn't because I couldn't have just, become an entrepreneur and a hustler and just did it, but I wanted something else underneath it. Like I always wanted to be a lawyer. So I was like, and this is what you had to do. You couldn't just become a lawyer. You had to go to school to get to becoming a lawyer. And so I picked up different things along the way, but I remember sitting at home and like, my friend just won a Grammy, or my other friend is working for the Oscars, and like my other friend is filming movies and winning film festivals, or like people are all like, I'm looking at all, I'm like, what the hell am I doing, And it's like that in itself, you can't compare yourself to everybody else's journey. You have to trust your journey, trust your process, and when you get there, God is going to give it to you 10 times forward, And I think me struggling with really zoning in on what you're good at and how to be the best at what you're good at, and not just be mediocre because you want to stand apart from everybody else. I think I earned their trust because at the end of the day, everybody I manage, I became friends with them in a sense, and we become family. And you have to know what you're talking about. because there are a lot, we live in Atlanta, or I live in Atlanta, and it's like the finesse capital of the world. Everybody knows somebody, everybody's doing something, but it's like it sets you apart when you actually walk in the room, you know what you're talking about. And then you can follow up by that. And so when I walk with my clients, I'm like, hey, I lay everything out on the table. I'm like, this is the good, this is the bad, this is my advice. You can take it or leave it, Like, I'm not trying to game you. I'm very transparent with my clients. And so anything, if I'm managing their money, their schedules, their calendar, they can access everything. And I tell them, I'm like, I'm your manager. And a lot of my clients, like, I remember the first client I got was on Young Jeezy's camp, right? And I was doing some trademark stuff with them. And I came, and it was my first client. I was so excited. I had my folders together. I was ready to present. I was like, here you go. And he said, do you know everything in that folder? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, then I'm good. I spent all day preparing this folder. He didn't even look at it, okay? But my thing was he trusted me enough that I knew what it was. But at the end of the day, I still said, hey, although I know, you still need to know what this is, because you never know what happens in life. And although I'm your manager, I still tell them you need to have 3 other people still check in what I do, because at the end of the day, the only person you need to trust is God and yourself, and I think they feel like I'm such a genuine and true person to that aspect that they're comfortable leaving me, like, I have control of I know everybody's finances account, and that's hard. Their own parents don't even know what they're making or what they're doing. And so you just have to be a genuine person and know what you're talking about and don't screw that shit up. Oh, I don't think I mastered that yet. I think I'm a working machine, and that's all I do, and that's all I know. And so I did talk to my aunt one day, told me, she was like, Portia, you're doing too much. I talked to my doctors one day. They're like, you're going to kill yourself one day. Because they're like, all you do is work. You work, you go to school, you do this, you do way too much. Like, I probably took 350 flights last year, like back to back. And so she told me, you need to at least 1 hour a day. It's just about you. Turn off your phone, turn off your computer, don't do anything. 1 hour a day. I watch Netflix Point of Interest. Like, my husband's like, if you turn that show on one more time, I'm on season 4 right now, okay? But that's my show, and that's what I like to do. Or I watch, like, Shondaland on Thursday or something, and that's what I like to do. And I kind of zone out from my realities of what I have to do. But, like, your mental health is the most important thing in the world, because what I've been reminded over time, if I'm not here, if my health is not right, if my mental health's not right, I'm not good to nobody. I can't manage nobody. I can't run no company. I can't help nobody. So you need to care about yourself, and it's called self-care. And sometimes people think it's selfish, but you have to kind of be a little bit selfish for yourself, because people will suck at you and feed you like leeches and suck all the energy out of you. And I feel like I work around a lot of good people, but there's people who don't understand the business that we're in, and so they see like the limelight, they see the entertainment, they see all this stuff, and they think like, hey, you can get me into this club, or you can do this, or you can do that, or hey, or you're acting brand new, or I'm like you work this hard to stay the same, like you want to evolve as a person, you want to change as a person, but so much pressure is on you. And so I just had to kind of shut people out, like, I love you, I got you if I can, but at the end of the day, if you're not good to my health and myself and my self-worth and my self-care, I can't be bothered. One concept that I live by: trust the journey and trust the process. I didn't really trust my journey, because I was like, what is going on? I didn't understand it. And it's not always about the end goal. The biggest blessing is during the process. And, so many people want to get to the end result because they think that's where all the gratification comes from. But they forget that during the process is where you're getting shaped, you're getting molded, you're learning things, and there's something beautiful in the struggle. Like, I've been homeless before. I remember not having food. I remember being hungry. Like, I remember all these different things. And at that time, it was hell. I was like, this is horrible. But at the same time, as I look back, that made me who I am. It made me talk to people differently. I might have prided myself too high or looked down on certain people until I was that person who was down. And so trusting your process and trusting your moment and really identifying with what God is trying to tell you and listening, and not always because you're going to get to the end point. We're one or two things. We're all going to die someday. We're all going to be in that ground or cremated, however you want to go. So it's like, what do you do when you get there? And you can't take nothing with you. So enjoy life and trust the process. Young entrepreneurs, figure out what you're passionate about. Because when you're passionate about something, then it's not work, And you're going to hear the word no a lot. Don't let that detour you, because that doesn't apply to you. Because like I said before, the only person who knows you and knows what you got is God and yourself. And so I have never met not one entrepreneur that did not have a bad day, not one that didn't have a low day. So if you get to those days, you just remind yourself about what you're passionate about and you keep on going, you keep on pushing yourself, and you're the captain of your own ship. And so bring it home.